Hello everyone, let's talk about another hard problem on Leetcode today, IPO. In this, suppose Leetcode will start its IPO soon. If you don't know what IPO means, it is an initial public offering when the company decides to actually go public and list its stock on some stock exchange like NYSE or some other stock exchange. Then they say that in order to sell a good price of its share to venture capital, Leetcode would like to work on some projects to increase its capital before the IPO. Since it has limited resource, it can only finish at most K distinct projects before the IPO. Help Leetcode design the best way to maximize its total capital after finishing at most K projects. Then we are given n projects where ith project has a pure profit I and a minimum capital I which is required to start the project. So capital is like an investment that we do into the project and profit is actually we get from it. So initially we have a W capital. When you finish a project, you will obtain its pure profit and the profit will be added to your capital. Pick at most K distinct projects from a given project to maximize your final capital. Return the final maximized capital. The answer is guaranteed to be a 32-bit integer because we are returning an integer here. So now let's look at the example. In example 1, they have given K equal to 2 and then profits are 1 to 3 and the capital required for them are 0, 1, 1. So because our initial capital we have is 0, so we can only invest 0 and we can get a profit of 1 here. So we will pick this project. Now K will become 1 and our working capital is now 1. So with this working capital, we can either invest in project with profit 2 or project with profit 3. And because the capital required is same, we will try to maximize the profit, right? That is the idea. So we will take 3 in this case. And now we will take this project. So now our K becomes 0. So that means we cannot take any more projects to work upon. And this is our final profit or final capital that we have in our bank. And now it's up to Leetcode to go for IPO or not. I hope this example was clear. Now let's jump into the solution space. If you notice, the keyword is maximize, right? And when we generally maximize, it is pointing to the greedy approach, or sometimes it also goes towards the dynamic programming territory. But this one is a greedy problem because at each step, we actually try to find the project with the maximum profit and then build the overall capital based on it. Now let's see how we can actually solve this problem. So first thing to note is that we have a limited capital. So we need to pick the projects with that capital that can give us the maximum profit, right? Now suppose the capital we have is W. And then how can we find all the projects where the capital required is less than the capital we have? What if we sort our capitals array in the ascending order? So it goes like this, right? Suppose now we have 3 projects which fit the criteria. And then what we have to do? We have to pick up the project with the maximum profit. So this is where max heap can come in, right? So either we can actually sort the capitals array or we can also use a min heap for that. Now let's see what we can do. So the idea is simple. We can actually pick up all the projects from this min heap or this sorted array such that the capital required is less than equal to the capital we have, right? And once we choose those, we actually put it into the max heap. And from that, we can actually pick up the project which has the maximum profit and do it K times. And that will actually add to our profit and that will be our answer. Now let's look at the example to actually understand it better. So suppose profits are 25, 30, 10, 50, and 5, and capital required is 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And suppose we had the initial capital of 40 and K is equal to 3. That is, we can take 3 projects. So first thing we do is like we build the mini based on it. So suppose we create a capital profit pair. So first pair is like 10 and 25. So min heap will have the value with the minimum capital at the top. So it will be like 10 is the minimum capital and 25 is the profit from it, for example. So similarly, we will build the min heap based on it. So then 20, 30, 30, 10. So all the elements are now added to the min heap. So this is just initialization. Then next step is try to pick up the first project. So first thing is we will pick up all the projects where the capital required is less than the capital we have. So we have 40 capital. So we will pick up all these projects except one where the capital required is 50 because we don't have that much capital right now, and add it to our max heap. Now we pick up the project with the maximum profit, and we can see that the project with maximum profit is 50, and we remove it from the max heap. Now we increase our capital by 50 and it becomes 90 now. Now we have a capital of 90, right? And we can now take this project as well, where the capital required is 50. But of course, when it comes to profit, it only gives a profit of 5. But we already have a project which can give us a profit of 30. So we will pick that project and add it to our profit, which makes our capital 120 now. And now for us, there's no element remaining in the min heap, but we still have k equal to 1 remaining. That means we can still pick up one project. And now we pick up the project with the maximum profit of 25. So our overall capital now becomes 145. That is our answer. And because we don't have any more projects to pick up, we will stop here and that will be our answer. So now let's jump into the code part. So first thing we can do is we can define our project class. I can just make it part of solution class itself. So first thing project needs is capital and what it outputs is profit. Now I can just create a constructor so that we can just make objects of it. Note that we don't have to create a class or anything. We can actually use integer array, or we can actually use the indices of the array to actually have the same capital and profit selected. But I'm just using it just for the clarity. On the blog, you can actually see the solution where I'm just using the indices. The second thing we need is we need to create a min heap and max heap. And in Java, we do it using priority queue. So this is min heap just to get the project with the smallest capital. And we can also pass the comparator in it. Similarly, we will create the max heap now to get the projects with the maximum profit. And because it's max heap, we will first reverse the order of A and B to get it in the reverse order. Now we will add all the projects to the min heap. Now we can define our answer W equal to the initial capital. Now we can loop to find the K projects with the maximum profit. So first thing we do is like we will check if min heap is not empty. And if it's not, then we will just peek the min heap and see if its capital at the top is actually less than equal to the capital we have so far. If it is, then we will add it to the list of the projects which we can consider for the maximum profit. And if max heap is empty, we will just break because we don't have any project remaining. But if it is not empty, then we will pull the project with the maximum profit, right? That's it. And in the end, we will just return W, the capital we collected over the time with K projects. Now let's run this code. Awesome. Let's submit this code. Cool. In terms of time complexity, it is O of n log n, where n is the number of projects. And the reason is when we build the min heap, it takes O of n time. But then we poll out all the elements from min heap, and polling one element takes log n time, where n is the length of the heap. Then to poll all the n elements, it takes n log n. So in the worst case, we will poll all n elements, and then we are also adding it to the max heap. So that takes O of n log n time. And when we poll the elements again from the max heap, k elements from the max heap, so that takes k log n time. But overall time complexity in the worst case will be O of n log n. And in terms of space complexity, it will be O of n because we are storing n elements or n projects in the heap at a time. So in the worst case, it will be O of n. And I have also added the solution on the blog where we don't use any project array. Of course, that code is smaller but less readable, but up to you if you prefer that solution without using some extra classes or anything. Do check it out. I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please like and subscribe. Have a nice time. Thanks again.